Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Spill the D. My name's Gina. I'm one of your hosts, and I'm joined here with my handsome co-host, Rick. What's up, Rick?
Not much. Living the dream, as they say.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Loving this beautiful weather?
It's kind of beautiful. It's a little warm,
See what
but
I did there? I pulled a Rick and talked about the weather.
nothing wrong with talking about the weather.
Fine dining.
It's getting up to
And
the
breathing.
90s next week, so thankfully the pool's open.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be like 100 degrees while I'm at camp, isn't it?
I don't know. Maybe.
I think it is. Okay, that's fine. We're not gonna think about that. We're gonna think about Disney. Hi everyone, welcome back. Hope you're ready to talk Disney. Today we are talking about things we would change at Walt Disney World, like what we would do to make it. I don't want to say better because it's controversially better or worse
Yeah.
based off of your opinion, but in our opinions, this would make Disney better. And we're
Better
starting on Magic
slash
Kingdom.
more convenient.
More efficient.
Convenient.
My word is efficient.
Okay,
That I
well.
wasn't correcting you. I was saying what
Oh,
my
okay.
word is. It did probably sound like that.
A little
No,
bit.
yeah. My word that I'm going to use. I think most of my things make things more efficient.
Okay.
Guess we'll see. Or just more fun. So one of my things makes it prettier. So we were going to do a full what would we change about Disney World? And then we were like, wait a minute. We can break this down by park.
Yeah.
Easily. Harder than I thought, first of all.
I didn't think it was that hard. I came up with my first three like nothing. And then the other ones I had to be a little nitpicky about, but there's still things that I would change if I had the opportunity.
See, some things I was like, oh, I would change it. But then I was like, but what to? And I couldn't figure out the proper way to change it. So I had to kind of
okay.
take it off my list because I feel like if I can't come up with a solution, I can't create the problem.
That's fair.
Or I can't point out the problem. Like, you can't point out a problem if there's no solution.
Yeah, that's fair.
You can't fix it in 5 minutes or come up with a plan in 5 minutes. At least in the podcasting world. We're not just going to complain. We're going to come up with solutions.
Yeah, we're solution driven.
Yeah. Before we do that, we're going through Disney news. Not really too much to talk about, just things opening, merely. We talked last week about how Tiana Bayou Adventure is officially doing all their cast member and annual pass holder DVC previews. So we already got that. But this week, we're going to talk about the fact that Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point is officially open. And this is the Disney Cruise Line's newest sailing destination.
I just feel like they could have came up with an easier name.
So it's confusing. So Lighthouse Point is an island in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
That is the name of the island.
Yeah.
Lookout Cay is the piece of land on the island that Disney bought.
Yeah.
So Disney doesn't own Lighthouse Point, but Disney owns Lookout Cay.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like Lookout Cay
Yeah.
at Lighthouse Point, because that's the name of it. It'd be like saying like Lookout Cay at Nassau.
Yeah, no, I
You
get
know?
it, but it's not as easy as like Boston, Massachusetts. It's just a lot of words.
Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point. I know, and I feel like I have them mixed up, and it's like Lookout Point at Lighthouse
Yeah,
Cay,
it's
but like, I'm like,
confusing.
no, that
Yeah,
doesn't make sense.
You could
Lookout-
easily mix them up. So
Yeah. Nice
That's
and
it.
confusing. But yeah, so they started sailing there. I thought that they were supposed to sail there until September, so I was so confused when people start posting about it because they're doing like media previews and stuff right now. I think
Okay.
some people may have paid to be on the boat. I'm not 100% sure because, like I said, I thought they weren't sailing there till December, so I was very confused. But it has started. Whether or not that's just media previews, we're not sure, but you can find so much on social media right now if this is something you're interested in seeing.
Mhm.
And if you want to go to Lookout Cay, if you're ready to book your trip, contact 407 and Beyond Vacation Co. We are the official podcast for 407 and Beyond, and they have some of the best travel agents out there who can help you book this trip. They are a Disney and Universal Orlando travel agency. They book and plan family vacations to destinations such as Walt Disney World, Universal Orlando, Disney Cruise Line to Lookout Cay, and so much more. It doesn't cost any extra to book with them. Their services are 100% free, and their travel agents are going to do everything so that all you have to do is show up, have fun, and create family memories. So go get your free no obligation quotes at www.407vacations.com. Seriously, check them out. They're great.
Yes. And you can even do that while you listen to us talk about all the things that we don't like about Magic Kingdom.
Not that we don't like, just that we think this could be better or more
That's fair.
efficient or prettier. I actually am looking. I don't know if there's anything on my list that I don't like. There's one thing I don't like.
Okay.
Yeah. All the things are like, oh, this kind of bugs me, but like there's one that I'm like, I don't like this, and I want to change this every time I'm there.
Would you like to get us started then?
I don't know. I don't know if I want to start over. Wait, so you have 5?
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah.
My plan was to come up with 5, and then I came up with 6 by accident, and I was just gonna cut one. But I guess if I start, I can end
Yeah.
and say them all.
Can do
Do you
that.
want me to start on the one that I think will be the most controversial, the least controversial, or somewhere in between?
Somewhere in between.
Okay. Somewhere in between, if I could make any changes in Magic Kingdom, I would put more street entertainment all throughout the park. So they kind of have gotten rid of the streetmosphere on Main Street, like how they used to have the citizens of Main
Like the
Street.
Dapper Dans
So
and
they
stuff.
still have the Dapper Dance, but they used to have so much more as you walked through, like people in costumes just walking around talking to you.
Okay.
Like the mayor was there. There was a woman who was like fighting for women's rights. Like there was just people walking around who were supposed to be in that time period in that
Huh.
era, and they don't anymore.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, you would see them in the shops. You would see them. They would just walk around and they would talk to people, and they were very entertaining. And they'd come in and out throughout the day, as the Dapper Dans did as well.
Mhm.
And yeah, they don't anymore. There's a lot of parks that used to do this that they don't anymore. So first of all, I'd want to bring that back, but I'm trying to not just make it here's what I'd bring back, because there's a
Okay.
lot that could have went that way with this. I actually would want to see it all throughout the park. Why aren't we seeing like futuristic people in Tomorrowland?
Yeah, that would be cool.
How come there's not circus performers?
Aliens.
Aliens, yeah, there you go. How come there's not circus performers in Storybook Circus?
Yeah.
Like there's so much you could do. You could have adventurers walking through Adventureland and just talking to people.
Yeah.
And I know it's really hard because Magic Kingdom gets so crowded, but they were able to do it on Main Street. And Main Street is probably one of the most crowded areas
Yeah.
that I really think like people just walking around talking to people and just really being in character and being that entertainment is fun. It keeps people out of lines to make lines a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
And it just keeps people happy. And you know what? People stand in the sun talking. They get hot. They buy waters. So Disney, you can make money off this.
Do you know when the last time they did that was?
So they stopped with COVID,
Okay.
and then they just never fully brought it back. But as far as the people everywhere, I don't remember them ever doing this. Maybe when the park like opened, but I've never even seen photos of this.
No, I just meant on Main Street. I don't think they've ever done it everywhere, but it would be cool to have like futuristic people and stuff
Futuristic
like that.
people would probably be one of the hardest ones to like really nail down what these people are gonna wear. You
Yeah,
know,
I
like what
guess.
they're gonna. Where are they from? Another planet? Are they just from the future? Like,
Yeah.
if do we have to put a little fake time machine out so that they're from the future? You know,
Yeah.
like that kind of thing. Although it's supposed to be that you kind of stepped into the future, so they
Yeah.
could say like you're in their time.
True.
But then they'd probably have to come. They probably would have to come up with more of a story then that would constantly be changing, which is the issue with Tomorrowland in general.
Yeah.
But as far as like circus performers,
It's easy.
Fantasyland is supposed to look like an old like fantasy fair. You know how easy that would be to just have people from that time
Yeah.
period kind
just
of
Old
walking.
clothes and
Yeah, like they could have people like colonial people walking around. Like these are just different things that just some improv actors could walk around and really sell it and really make you feel like you're in that time period. And I
Yeah.
think that would be such a cool change to see at Walt Disney World.
could be very fun.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Thank you. And okay, wait. So Disney has 5 keys. So when you like get a job at Disney, when you become a cast member, you
Mhm.
learn about their 5 keys, which are like the way they run their business, the keys to the good business.
Okay.
And they're safety, courtesy, inclusion, show, and efficiency. So like this one that I have here totally checks off show.
Definitely does.
Like these are the 5 most important things to them in running a successful business, and like that just checks show right off. So
Yeah, and I mean, if
and
you've,
courtesy.
if you've been to the boardwalk at night, then they have the street performers and stuff. That's kind of something that I guess you could compare this to, as far as
Yeah.
just like having people around and making it feel like you're where you're supposed to be.
Or even just the Dapper Dance. If you
Yeah.
just go back to that, like it feels like you're in that area.
Yeah.
And if anyone remembers what they were like when they were on Main Street, or oh my gosh, the streetmosphere that used to be, that's what they would call it, the streetmosphere
Okay.
that used to be in Hollywood Studios on Sunset Boulevard. Remember they would do like
Oh, they'd be
improv-
running around with like suitcases and stuff.
yes, and they
Yeah.
would do like shows and
Yeah,
things
they'd be
like
like, is this your suitcase?
yes, like that's like what I'm talking about. Just
Yeah.
people like that just walking around and making it so fun.
Yeah.
And even just if you think just like from an entertainment standpoint, they don't have to be all improv actors or all whatever. Like think about when you're walking through Pandora and there's someone out there playing the drums, or just walking through Animal Kingdom in general. Animal Kingdom does a phenomenal job of this, of entertainment everywhere you go. There's DJ booths, there's dance parties, and it's anywhere you go. in Animal Kingdom, you find this. So it's
Yeah.
like, why this would be such a fun thing for Magic Kingdom to get behind.
Definitely would be. Okay, my first is not going to be quite as fun, but I think I'm going to have a lot of people behind me on this one. My first change is going to be that I'm going to fully cover the line for Big Thunder Mountain.
Yes. And
Not-
put some fans on it.
Not as fun as having street performers everywhere, but I think everyone can agree that we need to cover up the line for Big Thunder Mountain because that line gets so hot in the middle of the summer.
Honestly, that's 100% more important than my street performers idea. I would sacrifice my street performers if we could please cover up the line for Big Thunder
I
Mountain.
was trying to think of like things that I would change, and this popped into my head, and I was trying to think of other cues that I think are an issue, and none of them struck me as bad as this one.
It just gets so warm. It does. It's so warm. And then you're like, then you get to the shaded part and you're already so
And it's just like
sweaty,
still
and then you're
warm air.
on top of people.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I agree.
Something's got to get figured out there. Like I said, a little boring, but I think it's
I don't
probably
think-
the best thing they could do right now.
Again, just some shade.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe
Some
some mist
fans.
fans.
Some mist fans. Oh, we're going full Six Flags
We
on this.
need mist fans in more spots.
Oh, that's so, yeah, I want to leave that line wet because I missed it, not because of the amount of sweat dripping off of me.
From waiting in line for an hour.
That line is disgusting. I will literally turn around and go somewhere else if that is more than like 30 minutes on a summer day.
Oh, yeah.
If it's out and down and around, I'm
Nope.
like, there is no way because it's just so hot.
Yeah.
I think that's a great one to start on. I really do. I would get rid of my street performers in a second if they covered up. Unless they hire people, then I wouldn't. We saved my butt on that one.
Yeah.
That's funny. They can afford to do both.
They could. Very easily.
And they could easily like work that in theme wise. Maybe they just really want you to feel like you're in the Old West. They're like, you know what? You don't smell bad enough.
You didn't have air conditioning in the Old West, so guess what? You're done.
They don't have it here either. They're like, you should layer up a little bit.
Make sure
Really-
you're wearing jeans and a long sleeve shirt for the mines.
And your boots. They're just really trying to get you in the
Yeah.
feel of it. Yeah, no, I like that. That's hilarious. Any more you'd like to elaborate? Are you
I
good on
couldn't
there?
think of any other ride lines that bothered me as much as that one does.
Yeah. No, I think you might be right.
Can't think of anything. Like Jungle Cruise, maybe if it's warm enough, but even then, it's not not nearly as bad as Big Thunder.
You know what lines are really warm?
What?
Or what line is really warm? And this is why I won't wait more than like 10 to 15 minutes for it. Tomorrowland Speedway.
Oh yeah.
It's hot and it smells. And I love the smell of gasoline, but when you get in there and you're sweating and it's gasoline and sweat,
not as good.
I'm like, I'm crying kids. I'm like, you know what? Big Thunder Mountain sounds really good right now. No, Big Thunder's still worse.
Yeah.
No, I agree. That's a great one. All right. My next one. I would love to make this change at Walt Disney World. I know somewhere, I think it's Shanghai or Tokyo, they already do this. Maybe both. We need to sit during the fireworks.
Yes.
We need to just all gang up. No, but we need sit. I don't understand why we are not sitting during the fireworks. I get that you can squeeze more people in if we're standing, which actually is one of my next ones. There's something regarding that, but I get you can squeeze more people in. But what I don't understand is why we're not sitting, because people are more comfortable. You can see everything. Me and the 6'6" man in front of me are roughly the same height when we're sitting. Or
Yeah.
it's easier to see above him if we're sitting. And it's just, I don't understand. It makes the most logical sense to let people sit during the fireworks. And I'm not saying let random people. I think it does need to be an all or nothing type of situation. Otherwise, you'll have people getting tripped over, getting stepped on.
Yeah.
All it takes is one person's hand to get stepped on because they're leaning back, and it's
Yeah.
all over for everybody.
Yeah.
So from a safety standpoint, I see why they might want people to stand, but they do it in other parks. So it's like, okay, we just need to make it that everybody is sitting.
Yeah. I mean, this one's an easy one. All you have to do is tell the cast members that you have lining the streets of Main Street to tell people to sit down.
Well, because people start out sitting usually, and then at some point they're like, okay, you all
Yeah.
need to stand up. And it's really funny because when we were in Disneyland Paris, they had made an announcement over the speakers. A lot of people were sitting there. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh, cool. This is the park I was thinking of. This is where everyone sits. And then they made an announcement saying, for the viewing pleasure of all guests. And I was like, oh, they're about to tell us to sit. Please stand for the show. And I was like, come on. Because
Yeah.
and I was like, how is this for the viewing pleasure? And then I understood it was like, okay, more people can get in. But like, it's still harder to see everything when everyone's standing.
Yeah, the height differences make a huge problem.
Yeah. But then it's like, okay, well, if we're sitting, if there's a stroller in your way, but I guess you could kind of position
Strollers go to
yourself.
the outside.
Well, that's hard to say. That's a hard thing
It's tough.
set
I mean,
up.
you can't really. It's tough to implement that now when it's not a practice that's been there the whole time. You'd have
That's
to
true.
have a lot of guidelines, and you'd have to
Mhm.
make sure that people knew those guidelines. I think there'd be a lot of fights between people and cast members if they decided to have them start telling people to sit down.
So this was an issue I had with a lot of my things that I came up with. Not all the ones I wrote, but a lot that I came up with was this could work at a smaller park. It's not going to work at Magic Kingdom, or it's not
Yeah.
going to work at Walt Disney World. It could work at maybe
California,
Disneyland,
yeah.
where it's more locals. There are too many tourists, too many once in a lifetime trip people who just don't know, who don't do research, who don't do
Yeah.
whatever, that it's hard to come up with some things. Or even like one thought I had, I tried to think about what I really liked at Disneyland Paris, and I hated that there was no photographers on Main Street.
Yeah.
But one of the things I really enjoyed about the fact that there was no photographers on Main Street was there wasn't giant crowds on Main Street, because there
People
wasn't
weren't waiting.
people waiting and trying to get photos and just blocking the way.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, is that something that could happen at Walt Disney World? And like, it's not.
No.
They make too much money off those
Yeah.
photos, and there's too many people trying to take photos that honestly might be more unsafe to get rid of the photographers. So
Yeah.
that's like where this came in. But I think this is something that could be implemented, but it would take a lot of announcements, a lot of hard work,
A lot of time.
A lot of
to get
time.
Where you want it to be.
Yeah, it would not be an easy thing, but I think it would be very successful once it was.
I think it'd be worth it. It would, like you said, that would take a lot of work.
Yes. That's all.
Okay. Next one. You had to know there was a food one coming. I need more options at Casey's Corner. That's my issue.
There's like 6 hot dogs.
There's like 4 hot dogs.
That's a good amount
That's
of hot
not
dogs.
enough hot dogs.
Okay.
I just don't want a hot dog with macaroni and cheese or chili on a 95-degree day. I just don't want that. I want something
cream.
cool and refreshing.
Like ice cream on your hot dog.
No.
Then what do you mean?
Like
Break it down
Like-
for me.
relish, pickles, like even just like topping options would be nice to have other options on our hot dogs.
There used to
instead
be
of-
toppings first.
I know there used to be, and we
Back
need
in
it.
the day.
And we need it.
I mean, you can still get like relish or onions or lettuce or not lettuce or ketchup, mustard, all that stuff. You used to ask for it.
Yeah,
Or
I
there's,
don't know.
like,
I
some in
feel
the
like they
corner.
could come up with some fun alternative flavor things, like maybe
Like a fancy relish.
like a fancy relish, or even like maybe like something that has coleslaw on it, because coleslaw is nice and refreshing in the summer, like something like that.
Yeah, coleslaw left out in the sun on a hot summer's
Well, it's
day.
not left out in the sun; it's in the restaurant.
I'm kidding. Okay, no, I like this one.
I just feel like there's not enough options, because I like the idea of getting a good foot-long hot dog. It's filling, it tastes good, but I just don't want chili on a 95-degree day.
And you don't just want a plain hot dog.
And I don't just want a plain hot
You
dog.
need a little something.
Yeah, I'm sure they could come up with something with like a sweet relish and like
They definitely
some
have.
other sort of topping.
They've definitely done different relish ones. I have gotten one with coleslaw. It was a pulled pork one
That sounds good.
that had coleslaw on it, but the pulled pork was nice and hot.
Yeah,
So like now it's getting crossed off the Rick list. You gotta find that balance.
there's a balance that I don't have the answers to.
Okay. It sounds like they kind of already have what you want, but
No, I want more like specialty options. Like I want them to come up with the recipe. I don't want just, can I get a plain hot dog with relish and mustard? I want, here's the foot-long space orbiter. I don't know. I just came up with that off the top of my head if you couldn't tell.
no, I loved it. It's
and
so
it
mainstream.
It's Tomorrowland.
Nothing screams Main Street USA like the Space Orbiter hot dog.
Listen, I'm tired. But anyway, I want them to come up with like maybe like even just 2 or 3 new hot dogs that are different.
Okay. Not just their one, how they do like one seasonal randomly. You want it like a consistent, this is
Yeah.
always there. So that way on, if it's a hot day in December, I can get this Space Orbiter hot dog.
Yeah.
Cool. Picturing a purple hot dog.
That a colored hot dog would be awesome.
No one would
I
get
know
that.
it wouldn't change the flavor at all, but it would be awesome.
I would get that. I don't think most people would get that.
You don't think?
No.
What color hot dog do you think people would be least likely to get?
Yeah. Pink. No, that's normal. I don't know. Probably like a blue or a purple.
I was thinking blue or green.
My thought was green at first, and I was like, it depends on the shade of green. But I think like a blue or a purple is too far from what it's supposed to be.
But that would be pretty cool if they did like a blue hot dog with
Space orbiting.
orange coleslaw and like something else that I can't think of because I don't know how to make food.
Green relish.
Just
Red
a bunch
ketchup.
of different colors.
Just going full rainbow. I love it.
And we could just throw sprinkles on it. Sparkles.
Like ice. Okay, I was like, huh? Okay. And then we'll call it like unicorn poop. Because nothing screams Main Street USA like unicorn poop
Honestly.
and Space Orbiter.
Honestly.
Personality dogs, am I right? I hope it's nice and refreshing for you on a hot summer's
That would be
day.
fun if they took like one of their like super famous actors or actresses or like someone who was like a part of the building process and
Walt Disney.
well, no, you can't ask him what his favorite kind of hot dog would be, but
Oh.
if they were like Chris Pratt, for example, if they were like, "Hey, we're gonna make a hot dog and we're gonna name it after you. Tell us what you want on it," and Chris Pratt made a hot dog,
Cheetos.
what about it?
I just think that like the crunchy Cheetos would be really good on a hot dog.
Like Fritos?
No, like a Cheeto. Like a Cheeto.
Yeah, but I feel like Fritos already go most of the time.
Yeah, but Cheetos are just Fritos with cheese basically and puffed.
And they're
But I don't
round.
want the puffy ones. I want the crisp, crisp.
The little ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brian threw away. Okay, my turn.
We'll make one.
We'll make a space orbiter and a rainbow poop. No, a
Unicorn poop.
unicorn poop hot dog. Okay, here is my first official hot take.
Okay.
I don't think it's that hot of a take. How I want to go about it is probably a hot take. In Magic Kingdom, I would like to get rid of all lightning lanes.
That's fair.
No ifs, ands, or buts. There are no lightning lanes.
And what's your reasoning behind this?
I think back to during COVID when they reopened the parks and there were no lines. And part of this, yes, is because there was no crowds. But even as the crowd's starting to come back before lightning lanes return, there wasn't really any lines because it's so much more efficient. You know, Disney, one of your 5 keys. It's so much more efficient to just keep the line moving rather than to keep stopping it for the people who have the lightning lane.
Yeah.
And if you're thinking as a whole for the company or as a whole for the machine to work, that is what is more efficient. If you're thinking for the individual person, yeah, lightning lane is super efficient. You're gonna get on that ride no matter what. You're making sure that day goes nice and quick for you.
Yeah.
But as a whole, for everyone in the park, that's more efficient to not keep stopping the line to let people go through.
I agree completely. And I know it's not Magic Kingdom, but my example for this is the one time that we were at Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. We were waiting for the lightning lane people to go, and I think I counted somewhere between 60 to 80 people in the lightning lane, and then they let one family through the regular lane.
It was poor training on their part.
And then it was back to the lightning lane, and it was like, how is this efficient at all?
For lightning lane people, it is. For the people who paid. And honestly, like, that day was so irritating to me because that was what was happening. We were literally counting the people, and we were so irritated. And then they switched cast members. And the next guy let so many of the standby line through, and it was, she was choosing to do that, or he was choosing not to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know which one of them was doing it right. Maybe it was both kind of wrong. You know what I mean? Like maybe he let too many standby, she let too many of that. But like either way, it wasn't efficient. We were in the last room for 30 minutes. We thought we were there, and then I think she switched in.
Yeah.
Because we were moving pretty well, and then all of a sudden we were just stuck.
Yeah. And
So-
the same thing goes for everywhere with a lightning lane. It's super inefficient because they let so many people in the lightning lane go, and the standby line is always longer. If you just get rid of the lightning lane and make everybody standby, we talked about it on the Paris episode. The unloading and loading efficiency in Paris, not great. The unloading and loading efficiency in Walt Disney World, fantastic. It would flow so well if we just got rid of lightning lane and everybody went. Like if you go during before the park opens, like if you go during extra magic hours, if you go in the morning and there's no lightning lanes, you'll see there can still be you can still be in the line for Big Thunder all the way out to the entrance, but it's going to take you 10 minutes to get through it because there's no lightning lane.
Yeah. It's insane. And honestly, like, I know there are people who are going to argue that they don't want to wait in line with their toddlers, whatever. The line is constantly moving when there's no lightning lane. So you're walking and talking to your kids. You're walking and talking. And, like, if it's too long for you, then come back later when there's less people.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things that it's just so much more efficient when it's not there. And the other part where it's so much more efficient is when there's no lightning lane, when there's no fast pass. Yeah, I'll go back to when they were free.
Mhm.
Even then, it was less efficient as a whole. When it's not there, you can just go around the park in whatever order you want and go from this ride to this ride to this ride. When you're basing your day off of getting to your next lightning lane or your next fast pass, you are constantly going back and forth throughout the park, and it's not efficient. It's really not.
It's not.
Like, I just have I gotten lightning lane? Absolutely. I've bought Genie Plus. I think it can be very worth it because it is a system that you should take advantage of while it's here, and it's probably going to be here in some rendition of it forever. But if I could change Magic Kingdom, it would be gone.
Understandable.
And I'll even say maybe just Magic Kingdom. I don't know for the other three parks. When we get to those episodes, I'll make that decision. But right now, for Magic Kingdom, I would take it away. And I think things would be so much easier, so much more efficient, and everything would move so much faster.
I agree.
Yeah. There would still obviously be the DAS pass. There would still be situations like that. But that compared to what there is because of lightning lanes would be so different. Even... I hate to keep comparing it, but when I think back to Disneyland Paris, their lightning lane system, it started at $90 a day. So nobody bought it. If people had it, it was very few and far between. Everything moves so fast. Even when the line said like 30 minutes, it just kept going. You didn't feel like you were waiting that long. Everything moves so quick. Even with, like you said, that they
of loading and unloading.
Their loading and unloading was so inefficient, but everything else was so quick.
Yeah.
I can't imagine if they had a good, efficient
system,
loading and unloading system, because almost every ride, it was not nearly as good as how it is at Walt Disney World. Disney has it down.
Yeah.
Well, they're both Disney. Disney World has it down as far as the most efficient way to get people on and off rides.
Yeah.
For like every ride.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, so that's mine. It's a hot take. Hopefully we didn't lose anybody on that one. I know a lot of people will say they don't like them, but they want like their fast passes back. They just don't like it because you have to pay for it.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all. I miss being able to just walk around the park in whatever order I want and get in line. And if I'm waiting 30 minutes, I'm constantly moving for that whole 30 minutes. Just keep going. It's so nice.
Yeah.
Even think about like when you buy a virtual queue. Once you're in the virtual queue line, everyone has virtual queue. So then everyone's moving.
Yeah.
So you don't realize sorry guys, I could go forever about this one. Go ahead, you give yours.
Okay. Next one. I might be alone on this, but it bothers me. The walkway between Peter Pan and It's a Small World.
I don't think you're alone on this. Do you want to make it bigger?
I want to make it bigger. It gets so crowded and there's so many people. We just need like another 20 feet on each side. I feel like
that's called a bottleneck.
I just feel like we need something because on the emptiest days I've been there, have still been in a giant crowd of people walking through that area, and I can't stand it.
You know when it's the worst? When it's raining and people have umbrellas up.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, everyone cover your eyes.
I just remember I remember back to a few years ago when we were there with your family, and it was so crowded. There were so many people there, and there was like 10 ECVs and like 5 strollers, all trying to get through at the same time.
And we had 2 of the strollers.
Yeah, well, yeah, but like
3.
All of the people in the ECVs were like yelling at us to get out of their way, and it's like we're trying our best. This is just a tight area.
Everybody was just in everybody's way.
Yeah,
there's no way around.
It's just so tight, and I think it's just because of the popularity of Peter Pan and It's a Small World, because those lines get really unreasonably long at most points in the day. Um,
because of the lightning lanes.
but so I don't know if it's the location of those rides that causes the bottleneck and the tightness there, but something's got to give. We got to widen that to some degree so that it's not as crowded there.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think there's a way to do it, but it would be really cool if they could figure it out because it backs up to the rides, both of them.
Does it back up to the exits of the rides?
It backs up to the queue. You have to go through the queue.
Hmm.
So I don't know how they would actually do it. I'm sure they could figure out a way.
Yeah.
But
Well, I don't
know how.
The exits are at the entrances, so maybe they could put the exit somewhere else.
The exits are kind of they're at the entrances, but like kind of on the sides. So they're actually probably the least of the problems. People are coming out on the side closer to PhilharMagic or on the side closer to the bathrooms.
Yeah.
It's the issue is that it's you got to go through.
Yeah.
It's the only way through if you're going from the bathrooms into Fantasyland. So
I don't know. It's frustrating. We gotta figure something out.
It's frustrating. That's one of those ones that I don't know how we're gonna fix it.
I don't either. I don't have a solution. But
do it.
That's not my job.
That's not okay. Then that's not. No, that was your job because the episode is changes you.
I tried, but you told me that it wouldn't work.
You need a solution.
I told you that you told me it wouldn't work.
Oh, okay. So
I said about doing the exits of the line somewhere else.
Oh, they're already on the edges.
I still feel like if you made them like even on like the other side, you know what I mean? Like if Peter Pan came out closer to Liberty Square and It's a Small World came out closer to Fantasyland.
They're just the opposite of that. So It's a Small World comes out, I believe. I'm like questioning when the last time was I wrote a Small World. It comes out near the bathrooms. On that side.
Not all the way down there though.
If not there, then it comes out by Pinocchio.
The rides load and unload very close together.
Yeah, so then you come
and you don't walk out far from the exit to go to the actual exit of the ride.
So It's a Small World. You would walk up the ramp, and then you're right by the entrance. And then Peter Pan, it actually shoots you out on the side, kind of on like. So if you're looking at Peter Pan, it shoots you out to the left of it, closer to the PhilharMagic side. So
yeah,
they're
but
doing
that's
what
the
you
beginning,
want, just
but that's the beginning of the bottleneck on either side there.
Yeah, so they're both at the beginning.
So I'm thinking we extend it even farther past there.
I don't know. I don't know if the exit's the problem or it's just all the people. I think it's just a tight spot.
It might not be. It might not be the solution.
Ultimate judge on the crowds for the day. If it's empty there, you got a really empty day.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Good for you.
Yeah, so that might not be the solution, but that's the one that I'm coming up with because that's the only thing I can think of that it might be.
All right, I like it. I appreciate the attempt. Okay. This next one, I am going to save my hottest take for the last one.
Okay.
I am going to... This is one that I don't know if it would work, again, because Walt Disney World is so crowded, but I'd like to give it an attempt.
Okay.
I want to get rid of Cinderella's royal table.
Why is that?
I think more people deserve to be in the castle.
That's fair.
That you should be able to go into the castle without spending hundreds of dollars for your family to eat there.
Besides just walking through it.
Besides walking through the tunnel, I think you should be able to go up in and get a whole view of Magic Kingdom from up there. And I think for the average family to go in there would be like $500 because it's not a cheap meal by any means.
Yeah.
So if we got rid of Cinderella's royal table, I think it would be a really cool spot for a whole like walk through kind of like museum area that's dedicated to the history of like Magic Kingdom and the parks and like the castle. Here's where I don't think it would work. And if I was going to cut one from my list, this was going to get cut. So we don't have to talk about this for too long. I think it would get too crowded.
Exactly.
I don't think people would be able to physically enjoy it, especially people who would want to read about the history of it. Because I think there would be too many people trying to get over to the windows to see out and to be like, I'm in the castle. So I don't think it would get the love that it deserves. I think it would get the love for the wrong reasons and take away from the people who actually would really enjoy it, unless they made it like a queue where you had to wait in line to go into it.
I was just gonna say, I think that would end up just creating another lightning lane.
No, because in my world, there's no lightning lanes. So it really just creates another attraction. So it would be a queue, and they could only allow a certain amount of people in at a time.
That's the way they would have to do it. Otherwise, it would get way too crowded.
Yeah, but then it's like, how long would you go in? So like, this is my one that I planned on cutting. But I do just want to say it because I think it would be really cool to be able to give more people access. I think financially, it would be one of the worst decisions Disney's ever made.
Yeah.
Because like I just said,
they probably make so much money.
If the two of us went in there, we'd probably spend about $250 because I think the meals are like I can't remember the exact price point. It's one of the most expensive
Crazy.
meals on Walt Disney World property as far as like a
Understandably so.
prefix meal goes. But is it like it's in the castle, which is cool? There's princesses, which is cool. But me personally, I prefer a meal with a view of the castle rather than in the castle.
I guess. I
But it's
feel
the
like looking out on
princesses.
Main Street would look pretty cool though.
Yeah, it's the princesses too. You're paying
Yeah.
for the princesses.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well,
hmm
we're gonna pretend I didn't say this one. Good. What's your next one?
Okay, my next one
You should have two
is
more.
not super realistic, but we're gonna do it anyway because I want it. Uh, we're gonna switch up Tomorrowland Speedway a little bit.
I knew that was gonna be one of yours.
We're
I could have
gonna.
bet money on that.
What do you think I'm gonna say?
I think you're gonna make it Wreck-It Ralph themed
I'm not.
or Cars.
That would be really cool. I already talked about that in an Imagineering episode though,
You did.
so I'm
That's
not gonna
right.
repeat myself. Here's what we're gonna do this time instead.
Sassy.
We're gonna make the cars faster. They're gonna go faster. We're gonna put bumpers on around them, like a bumper car, and we're gonna take away those guards that keep you going straight. And it's just gonna be one track, and you just go.
It's gonna be lethal.
Can't go backwards though. Like there'll be like there's like some sort of sensor in it that you can't turn the car around and go backwards.
Love this.
So you have to go forward, but you can still bump into people, and the cars are gonna go faster.
So are we like not allowing small children on this ride anymore?
No, they can go.
Okay, cool.
We just have a different height restriction.
What about babies?
Different height restriction.
Okay. All right. This could be really fun.
I think it would be.
Are you
super
telling me
fun.
we're not gonna make it Wreck-It Ralph themed?
I would love to make it Wreck-It Ralph themed, but I didn't want to repeat myself from another episode.
Well, I'm sorry, not Wreck-It Ralph. Sugar Rush.
I would absolutely love for Tomorrowland Speedway to be rethemed to Sugar Rush. That's like my number one. If Disney came up to me right now and was like, "What do you want us to do?" That would be what I would tell them to do.
Really?
Yeah, I think it would be so cool. I want a Sugar Rush ride so bad.
It honestly wouldn't even be that out of place in Tomorrowland.
It
either.
wouldn't. It really wouldn't.
Yeah.
I want a Sugar Rush ride. Disney, do it. But yeah,
You heard him.
otherwise we're doing that. We're making almost like bumper cars, except for still kind of like Tomorrowland Speedway.
I think it'd be fun.
I agree.
I like it. I like this idea. This is a good one. Okay.
Second to last one for you. What do we got?
Yeah, because my last one's the really
I'm really excited about my last one.
So am I.
I think my last one is the best idea ever.
same. I don't think it's the best idea ever, but I think it's really gonna I think it's gonna hit people hard, and they're either gonna be like, "This girl's so dumb," or "This girl's a genius."
Let's hear it.
Well, that's my last one. This is
Let's
my
hear the
second to
other
last
first.
one.
Let's hear the
My
other
second to
first.
last one is that I want to reimagine New Fantasyland because I don't like it.
Okay, how are we doing it?
So, for anyone who doesn't know, New Fantasyland is the area behind it's behind Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
Where the Little Mermaid is?
Yes.
Yeah, it's really bad.
It's just so boring. It's so
It is.
brown. The whole park is so beautifully colored and fun, and then that area is so
Just
brown.
a bunch of rocks.
It is. And think it was meant to give it like a cohesive look as it goes from like the mines to the grottos and then into Beauty and the Beast. Like it's just all over. And the reason that I think it needs to be rethemed is that, or not rethemed, the theming's fine, reimagined, is that if I don't ride the Little Mermaid ride, if I don't meet Ariel or ride the Little Mermaid ride, besides going to Gaston's,
Mm-hmm.
I could not go in that area of the park and not even realize I didn't go in it.
Yes.
Not even realize till maybe I'm on the way home talking about what I did and I go, I didn't even step foot in that area. I don't know anything about Star Wars, but I'm going to go into that area because it's
Yeah.
visually appealing and it's fun and entertaining. And I just don't think, even when I was talking about putting the people around, I didn't even mention that area.
Yeah.
It's just so lackluster compared to
Yeah.
the rest of the park. And I think it would be really cool if they kind of kept like the Ariel's grotto theme and like they have her castle there and everything. But why isn't it more colorful, like an old school like fishing town with just like
Yeah.
colorful, even just like maybe some banners up.
Waterfalls.
Yeah, just something to
Just
add.
throw a waterfall or two in there.
Just something to add like a little pop of color and a little pop of life to
Yeah.
give it something because it's just so bland and it could easily be brightened up and I think make it more intriguing for someone to come into.
I got an idea.
Tell me.
You could potentially, and I think the reason that it is the way it is right now is because they tried to smush together Beauty and the Beast and Little Mermaid, and it just doesn't work.
And Snow White. All three of those are like a little triangle back
Yeah, well,
there.
and I mean, as far as just that back corner, it's the Little Mermaid and it's Beauty and the Beast.
Well, no, because if you think what's making the corner, it's
It's the
also
back
the
of Seven
ed
Dwarves,
is
yeah.
Seven Dwarfs, so they had to make that look
Yeah.
cohesive too.
I think what you could do, I mean, it would take a little bit of work to get Seven Dwarves to look like it belongs as well, but Beauty and the Beast takes place in France, if
Yes.
I'm not mistaken. And there is a close enough resemblance to some of the homes in France that I feel like you could make like a like you said, a beach town, like a colorful beach town with the vibe of like the houses in France, and I think it would look okay.
I think it could easily flow into each other.
I think they're close enough to each other, like vibes wise, that you could make it work.
Well, just to be safe, I looked it up out of curiosity, and Little Mermaid takes place in the ocean, but when they're on land, when they're on land,
Yes,
it's
thank you.
it's supposed to be themed towards like Denmark, like
Okay.
above Germany, which wouldn't be that far from France.
Yeah.
So like that's not that crazy. They're both that like European, like
Yeah.
it's not that crazy that they could flow together.
Yeah. It would take a lot of construction and a lot of reworking, but I think it's worth. I think it would definitely be worth it. I don't think they use enough of the space back there either, because if you're going towards Little Mermaid from Gaston's, there's that whole area on the right where they have that random quick service place. It's like the back of Seven Dwarves.
That they don't even have open all the time.
Yeah.
It's just like a turkey
Like they
leg and a
could do something
pretzel.
else there.
That's where like they could definitely add the colors of like the
Yeah.
towns, like the nice colorful beach towns.
Yeah, there's so much they could do with that area to make it better.
Just to make
I
it pop a
agree.
little bit more appealing to the eye,
Hmm.
to just make you want to be there.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't do it. I could literally not go in there and never even realize. And I think there's a lot of people who would agree with us on this one. That it's just such a, and you would think like it's a beautiful area. Don't get me wrong. What it is beautiful. I just think what it is could be better.
Yeah. If Gaston's wasn't there, I wouldn't need to go back there.
Yeah, there are multiple times that we've gone back there only for Gaston's,
Yeah.
and then realized later, like, we didn't even go in there all
Yeah.
day. We didn't think to go in there.
Yeah.
And it comes out of Storybook Circus and then into there. Like, it could flow in
Hmm.
so nicely. Like, there's so much they could do to make this whole area
Yes.
so much more appealing. All right. This is your last one
Yeah.
that you're
that's
so
really good, too.
excited for?
That's really good too.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
What if it's the same as my last one?
That would be crazy. What's your favorite bathroom in Disney World?
It is not the same as my last one. Like theming or
Yeah.
like if I have to pee, I want privacy.
Theming.
I think everyone has the same one.
What is it?
No, probably not. Give me a second. Because obviously my brain immediately says the Tangled
Wonderful.
bathroom.
Now, let me ask you this.
I don't even have a second to think if there's another one.
No, because that's your answer. So, the Tangled bathroom, and then we have It's a Small World, and then what's on the other side of It's a Small World?
Pinocchio Village House.
Yeah, that thing's gone. We're retheming that, and because we're so close to the Tangled bathroom, and Tangled does not get enough love in Walt Disney World,
I so know where you're going
we're
with
gonna
this.
retheme the Pinocchio Village House to the Snuggly Duckling Bar.
Love it. It's perfect.
It's already got like the wood kind of like theme almost, like how the Snuggly Duckling was like a log cabin in
Aesthetic.
the wood. Yeah, it's got the aesthetic already, so it wouldn't take much as far as like actually structurally reworking things. It would just be like decorations on the walls and stuff like that. I already don't think it really goes well with the lookout area over It's a Small World, so I'm not really worried about changing that because it already doesn't match in my opinion.
I don't know. I like when people
But-
hold up the signs.
Yeah,
One time a little kid flipped us off.
that did happen.
Yeah.
But I think you could rework that to the Snuggly Duckling, and you could still have food there. You can have drinks there. I mean, obviously they don't have alcohol in Magic Kingdom, so it's gonna be different drinks. But you could have Tangled themed drinks. You could have food, and it could still be a good place to go get stuff.
Love that. I love the idea. Of
And I think
Snuggly
more people, and I
Duckling.
think more people would be able to connect with it because Tangled is newer. As much as like we're not always on board with just switching everything to newer. For example, Lilo and Stitch in Polynesian. Polynesian.
At the Polynesian.
At the Polynesian. I don't know why that sounded weird. At the Polynesian being switched to Moana. If you're a fan of It's Tough to Be a Bug, you could be upset about the fact that that's getting changed to Zootopia. But these are newer things, and I think this is a newer thing that a lot of people would be on board with.
I agree with you. Now, would you want to keep it as a quick service or turn it into a sit down?
Quick service, I think.
I think so too because I don't think they need another sit down there.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But it would be cool as a sit down. But like, it would be a better quick service.
I would say sit down if they sold alcohol in Magic Kingdom.
Well, they sell alcohol at sit downs. That's also why I was curious what your logic would be on that.
Then maybe I would.
They
they
usually don't go hard. They'll do like beer and wine. So that's why I was curious.
Yeah, but even still, the Snuggly Duckling is like a hardened Viking bar.
Yeah.
Just called the Snuggly Ducklings.
That makes it even better.
Yeah, so yeah, I guess I would do sit down then because it would be really cool if they had like themed beer steins and stuff that you could get.
I like this idea
a
lot.
That's it.
But that does kind of get rid of basically all that's left of Pinocchio.
Yeah, but guess what? Pinocchio is
old,
also European, and you know where else is being rethemed at the current moment in our fake world?
I do, but
New Fantasyland.
New Fantasyland, yeah. Oh, you're gonna put Pinocchio back there?
Why not? Moby Dick.
Yeah, I guess you can kind of. Moby Dick isn't. It's a whale.
Yeah, but like
Maelstrom.
It fits in with the water theme.
Is it Maelstrom the whale?
I don't know.
Maestro? No, I think it's Maelstrom. That's Italy. So now we got France, Denmark, Italy. We got Germany with the Snuggly Duckling.
So we're gonna put
Fantasyland is just Europe.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna
Snow
take
White?
the
Snow
back.
White's Germany, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the back of where New Fantasyland is, and we're just gonna put another World Showcase there.
Wait, Snow White is Germany, and then isn't Rapunzel supposed to be Germany?
I have no idea.
I think she is. So now we have that. Actually makes the Snuggly Duckling flow even better because it's right across from Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
I'm just saying, we're awesome.
Tangled is Germany.
I mean, this is just going so well.
I double checked it. It's the fictional city of Corona, which that we knew. They say that in the movie,
Yeah.
but it's
If
Germany.
anyone has any connections at Disney Imagineering, please refer them to this podcast because we have some fantastic ideas for New Fantasyland.
And the next one is about the castle for me.
The Beauty and the ultimately disappointing Beauty and the Beast castle in New Fantasyland?
Nope. Cinderella Castle in Fantasyland.
Huh?
Cinderella Castle. That's considered Fantasyland.
Oh, okay.
So I have this. Please don't turn the podcast off. Hear me out.
What are you about to say?
So happily ever after.
Yeah.
I want to get rid of all of the projections. Every single one of them.
Why?
Gone. Or maybe not every single one of them. The majority of them. Like, get rid of like 90%.
Why?
No, because then the 10% is going to leave people wanting more. Okay, here's my logic. The projections are cool. My brain cannot handle the fireworks. There's more than just this. I promise. It's not just about my brain. There's more. But first of all, my brain can't handle the fireworks and the projections at the same time. I assume most people's can't. So what ends up happening, because in my brain's like everyone else's. So in my fantasy world that I live in. So I get sucked in to watching the projections. I'll be like, oh my God, I haven't looked at the fireworks in 2 minutes. And then I look up and then I'm like, I haven't looked at the projections in 5 minutes. And then I look down, but I'm like, but wait, I want to see the fireworks. So I look up and I'm all over. And it's hard to concentrate on what I want to concentrate on, which is both, because you can't concentrate on both because it's not how eyeballs work. And so that's part one.
Do you not have peripherals?
I do, but I want to concentrate on them. You don't concentrate with your peripherals. So that's part one. Part two. How I was talking about when you're sitting, it'd be nice if you could sit down because when you're standing, people are blocking you.
Yeah.
What are they blocking you from? Not the fireworks usually. You're looking up for that. The same reason why if we sat down, most people would be able to see because you're looking up more.
Yeah.
They're blocking you from the projections. You get irritated and annoyed when someone comes and stands in front of you or when a kid gets put on shoulders because they're blocking the projections. You're still going to see the fireworks fine. So that's going to take out a lot of aggravation if we take away the projections. Now let's talk about when you're all the way down Main Street. If you don't have good vision, those projections are very small anyway. Even if you have good vision, now the projections are small and there's now projections all down Main Street. So on top of not being able to focus on the castle or the fireworks, you also have to focus on the projections on Main Street because you don't want to miss anything. And here's my final argument, I think. And it's the most important one. And this is what I remember from my childhood, and I miss it dearly. So much. Growing up, there was no projections on the castle. Wishes did not have projections on the castle. I cannot remember what was before Wishes, but it didn't have projections. It wasn't a thing at the time. You could stop wherever you were and watch the fireworks and have the exact same experience as someone who waited for an hour on Main Street.
Yeah.
As long as you could see the sky above Magic Kingdom, you could see the fireworks. The music was piped in everywhere. There are pictures of my family sitting on, I think it's the bridge over into Splash Mountain.
Okay.
Just sitting on the edge, looking up, watching the fireworks. And like, we probably just stopped there and we're like, cool, look, we can sit here and watch it. So everyone is able to spread out more and thoroughly enjoy their time. If you want to go wait on Main Street so you can see the castle while you watch it, absolutely do that if you want that aesthetically pleasing. But for being realistic, for most places in Magic Kingdom, you get a little view of the castle if you really want to.
Yeah.
But it's just more about seeing the sky. And I miss that freedom of just stopping wherever you're at and looking up at the sky and not feeling like you're missing something. If you don't know, you don't know. If you did no research and don't know that there are projections on the castle, you can stop wherever you're at. Or if you just don't care, cool.
Yeah.
You stop wherever you're at with your family, you look up, you watch it, and then you go back to what you're doing. But it's just such a nice thing, I think, to know that like you're getting the same exact experience as everybody else. There's not one view that's better than the other as long as you can see the sky.
I get where you're coming from, but I personally love the projections.
I know, everyone
I think
does.
It makes the whole show. So I'm gonna say I disagree, but I understand where you're coming from and your opinions.
I think the projections are really cool. I think that they are very entertaining when you can see them. I don't want to get rid of the projections at Happily Ever After, but if they came up with a new show, I wouldn't be upset if there were no projections. I'm going to word it like
That
that
makes sense.
instead because
That
I
makes
do, from what I've seen, I mean, I've seen all of the projections at Happily Ever After from every angle.
Yeah.
And I mean, it feels like every angle. And it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
It really is. And I will never deny that. It is gorgeous. What they can do with that technology is astounding.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, sometimes I think you just got to take a step back and just kind of go, like,
More simple.
and like just nice and simple is sometimes better. And if they did another show, even when they brought back Wishes for a little bit in 2022, they added projections.
Mm-hmm.
And it would have just been really nice to just bring back Wishes, like bring it back how it was and let people just stop wherever they're at, look at the sky, hear the music and watch the show. And I know it's an unpopular opinion. I know it's a hot take. It's just something I think would be a very cool change.
Yeah, if you're doing a whole new show, I agree. Then that's not a bad idea. I'm not changing Happily Ever After, but if we're doing a brand new show, I have no issues getting rid of projections because I think not necessarily in Magic Kingdom, but in other parks and other shows, I think they tend to go a little overboard with the projections to the point where I don't think it looks great. Specifically,
tacky?
Specifically in Epcot with like the water projections that they do. I'm not a huge fan of the water projections. So I don't need the projections necessarily.
See, that's kind of how I feel about the projections on Main Street.
Yeah,
they're cool.
I mean, they're a little unnecessary.
They're cool, but
though.
Again, it's just there's so much going on, and you just add more. It's really nice though. Like I said, if you don't have the best vision, now you can look up and see that.
Yeah.
Since you can't see Main Street, or if there's just people in your way, look, you can still see something. Or for little kids who can't see as far, to be able to just see that, like that is really cool. So, like all around, I get why it's there. I enjoy that it's there. Do not get me wrong. I love Happily Ever After. This is just a change that I think would be a very nice change to see. But I do want to change my wording and take back the way that I said it. I don't want to get rid of the projections at Happily Ever After.
Gotcha.
But if the next show that they came up with didn't have it, I would not be upset. I think it would bring back a nice simplicity to the park. And I feel like most of my list was kind of about bringing simplicity to the park and bringing back a little bit of like that old magic.
Yeah.
So, and I really tried to not do like a bring back this. I tried to come up with new ideas, but that was something that was like bring back that simplicity. You know,
Makes
I'm not saying
sense.
bring back wishes, but bring
Yeah.
back that simplicity. Just stopping wherever you're at.
My favorite one of yours was the reimagining New Fantasyland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you don't think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I thought that would be a good one. That'd be fun.
Mhm.
Make it colorful.
Yeah.
That's it though. Oh, and thank you to the 407 travel agent Libby who verified for me that there was no projections during wishes because I could not. I was like, there definitely wasn't, but I don't want to speak wrong. And when I googled it, all I could find about was 2022. So thanks, Libby. But that's it. That's all we got.
Yeah.
That's all we got. An hour later, I had fun.
Yeah.
I am very excited to change the other parks. I'm also, make sure you guys are following us on Instagram. We're at Swolity Podcast. I want to post on the story a box for you to write in what you would change. This feels like a perfect episode to do a listener submitted one. So probably in a few weeks or so, maybe I'll do it this week when I post the episode, but then we'll do the episode in a few weeks.
Yeah.
I would love to hear what you, the listener, would do to change Magic Kingdom. If you don't have social media, well, if you don't have Instagram, we're also on TikTok at Swolity Pod.
Mhm.
You can also find us via email. You can send us an email. Let us know what you would change so we can make sure to include it in our episode. We are swolitypod@gmail.com. You can also leave us a review. Just put 5 stars with it. And then write in what you would change. That's fine.
Not about the podcast, about Disney.
Yeah, wait. I mean, I guess you could say that, but just if you could do me a favor, make it 5 stars and then be like, but I would get rid of Gina. Like, just make sure that you have that right. Can you imagine someone does that and someone hasn't listened to this episode yet? And is like, they gave 5 stars, but said they'd get rid of a host? I don't know if I want to listen to this. That's it, though.
Yeah.
Anything else from you?
No.
Nothing else from me. You look like you're ready for bed.
Yeah.
All right, then let's end it.
But that's all we have for this week. So until next time, we will
See you at the castle.